Hi, I'm Petar, and I came here today to ask you for help to make AI safe. I've been working on this for more than 10 years now, and I know many of you would be thinking that this is on me, but today you will see that you have an even bigger responsibility in this. The good thing is, it would require you to worry, and many of you already do worry about AI safety, but we'll see that it's really critical that you do worry about the right things. My personal journey in AI started as a child. So I learned how to code by reading my brother's textbooks, and I found it really fascinating and interesting how I can make the machine seem a little bit more smart and intelligent by writing simple games that I can play against. And then this ultimately motivated me to dig deeper. So I went to the Swiss ETH Zurich. I finished a PhD in computer science and AI. And I was very fortunate to work with smart people, great people. And we ended up building the first systems for verifying the safety of modern AI. And following this, I created two companies. One of them I sold to PwC. The second one became the #1 Swiss AI company for 2022. This journey so far has important lessons. One of them is that is the mic okay? All right. One of them is really to kind of witness and understand like how fast technology can move and how quickly it can change the entire world around us. But this also taught me that new technology always tends to be very brittle and can very easily endanger people, endanger businesses around us because things don't always work as expected. But worst of all, I found is the misunderstanding of the risks associated with new technology, because this creates chaos, it creates confusion, and just distracts us instead of focusing on solving the real problems ahead of us. And unfortunately, this is what has been happening with the AI space lately. And here's why this is really important to address right now. The AI space, thank you. The AI revolution is happening right now, okay? Not in 10 years, not in 5 years, right now. There's nothing really we can do to stop it. It took Netflix 3.5 years to get to 1 million active users. ChatGPT got there in 5 days. 1 month later, it had more than 100 million active users on the platform, all right? And this is not just about rapid adoption of this technology. Just take a look at how fast this technology itself has been advancing in the last couple of months. So last year, if we asked the best AI to give us the best possible video of Will Smith eating spaghetti, this is the kind of result we will see. I can see this is Will Smith. He's eating spaghetti. I think we can all agree this is fake, and I don't think Will Smith is very happy about this result. Now, fast forward to today, this is the kind of results we can get. So if we ask today the best AI to give us a video trailer of a spaceman and his spaceship, that's what we'll see. Now, just think about, this was done in about 12 months progress. Imagine if this exponential progress continues going forward. Just think about all the amazing things we'll be able to build in the next 1, 5, 10 years ahead of us. I think this is setting us up for a really exciting future going ahead of us. But at the same time, maybe this can get a little bit scary. So who here is excited but also a little bit worried about where this future can take us? Right. Almost all of you are a little bit concerned about this. And the reality is, you are not alone. Many other people also worry. And if we go online and read kind of the latest media articles on this topic, so these are the kind of things we will start reading that show us what people worry about. Well, people worried about AI taking over. What if we lose control over this AI, so it suddenly takes control, destroys us? Worst case scenario, that's terrible. People worry about, what if this AI gets so smart, it can do everything we can do, so it just takes all our jobs? What would happen if a few corporations control this technology and all the jobs in the world. Just imagine a world like this. But the reality, my friends, is that these are not new worries. We've always been worried about these things, ever since we have started working on AI back in the 50s. Life magazine in the 70s, this is quotes from Marvin Minsky, who was running the AI labs at MIT, claiming in a couple of years we'll have an AI with the general intelligence of people, and to quote, within a few months it will reach genius levels. Few months after this, its powers will be incalculable. Okay, big words. New York Times in the 80s, people again were very worried that we would lose our jobs to robots, to AI. Again, the same kind of worries. So honestly, I think these fears would always stay with us. I think they're really very basic to us. But, you know, all these worries, they would become true only once we get to building an AGI, or artificial general intelligence. And that's different from the kind of AI we're building today. The AI we build today, it can help us, it can help you write your homeworks, it can help us generate this kind of content, it can help us number of cats in an image. But AGI is about a different thing. That's about an AI that is really superhuman, so it can do everything we can do, but much better, much faster. It can invent new theories, invent new solutions. And the reality is, we just ain't quite there yet. We've been working on this for 70 years, we're not there yet. I'm not saying that these existential fears are unfounded. I think this can happen at some point in time. But I do believe that the fears that we'll have AGI overnight are unfounded, and these are the wrong things to focus on right now. Now, to help you appreciate my viewpoint, so let me take you back in time and give you some perspective on what has been happening in AI, kind of from the start, and where do we stand today. So everything started in the 50s when Marvin Minsky, John McCarthy hosted the first ever workshop on AI. And since this point, so we've been really in research, working hard on figuring out how to build intelligent machines. And there are two distinct approaches to AI that are worth mentioning here. One of them is what we call symbolic AI. And the idea here is that we can build intelligent machines by using rules, symbols, and logic. Okay? So for instance, we can define a rule that says that all cats are mammals, and then we can leverage those things to learn new facts about the world around us. For instance, if we know that our best friend Leo is a cat, then we would also know that Leo must be a mammal. And this kind of AI, it really excelled at logical reasoning. In fact, it can do this much better than we people can do this. And still, even today, we do rely on symbolic AI to check the correctness of the most complex systems we build as people. So if you think of for example, the security protocols that we use to access our bank accounts over the internet, this is checked by symbolic AI to make sure it really works. Okay? But symbolic AI has a big problem, so it doesn't scale. So it's very hard to get it to work on video, on image data, on speech, and this is fundamental. So that's why we cannot really make it to handle these complex tasks. So following this, we got to a second generation AI, deep learning, and deep learning really solved the problem of scale. Okay? And the idea here is that we would get rid of these logical rules, and we're just going to train the machines on large numbers of examples, and they will learn how to handle complex patterns on image, speech, on video, and so on. And this really worked, okay? So all the modern large language models, large vision models, they are based on this deep learning approach. But deep learning also has a fundamental limit. And fundamental means that no matter how much you push this technology, it will always be limited. And this is that it just cannot reason logically about the world. And I'm sure many of you have tried those language models. They tend to make very, very simple mistakes exactly because they cannot handle reasoning very well. So here do we stand today. We've had two successes. Neither of them is good enough to allow us to build an AGI. They're non-comparable. Even if we somehow magically figure out how to combine them, build a new generation AI that can handle scale and logical reasoning, we still wouldn't get to building an AGI. And that's because there's more fundamental problems that we need to solve. So we still need to learn and understand how to teach the machines basic facts about the world, like the laws of physics, for instance. And these are, again, fundamental challenges that we don't know yet how to solve. We don't know how complex they are. And therefore, we don't have meaningful timelines to really solve these problems. So I hope this helps you appreciate my perspective on why I think we don't have a silver bullet to get to an AGI overnight. So this will take some time. But the point I also want to make is that we cannot forget that the current AI that we already are building is everywhere around us. It's in the cars, it's in hospitals, we use it for diagnostics, we have chat assistants, we generate media with this. And there are some very real challenges with current AI that make me worried. And I think we should pay attention because this is now, this is not in 5 years, not in the future, it's now. And I think there are 3 key challenges that you also need to worry about. One of them is bias, because the real world is biased. Because of this, the data is biased, and all these algorithms are learning these biases. And that's a big challenge, because we try to build, like Amazon, for example, they wanted to automate the hiring process. So automatically use AI to screen all the CVs, find the best candidates, and hire them. And this led to a lot of bias, because for some male-dominant positions, the algorithm learned this and became really biased against female candidates. So I think we would all agree that we want to give people an equal opportunity to compete for jobs. And these things are quite hard to handle. So ultimately, Amazon had to shut down this program because it was very hard to remove these historical biases. So that's a real challenge, again, now. We do need to worry about misinformation spread by AI. As we saw earlier, today, we can already generate content that's really hard to differentiate from real content. And this really changes how we perceive information in the world today. Just have a look at what happened in Slovakia in the last elections. Somebody used AI to generate a fake recording where the leader of the Liberal Party would claim that they have rigged the elections. Okay, this was posted 3 days before election day. It goes viral or online, and they end up losing the vote by a small margin. I think this has to be a wake-up call for everybody around the world. I really care about accuracy and reliability of these models. We want to use them in critical applications, in medicine. We want to deploy them to our cars. But the reality is it's still really, really hard to build AI that is accurate and works reliably on real data. Just look at what happened with COVID. People trained hundreds of different AI tools. None of them worked reliably on real data. We have to figure out how to solve this problem. Now, on a good note, these are very hard things, don't get me wrong, hard to do, but they are solvable. We can solve them, and in fact, we have solved similar problems in the past. Again, every new technology is always brittle and hard to get right in the early days. The internet was, very insecure back in the days when it started. But today, I think we can all know how to securely access our bank accounts. We have security protocols. We know how to, handle our passwords and so on. So similarly, this can happen also for misinformation. We need to learn that not everything we read and see is real. And we need to use some solutions to authenticate digital content so we can trust it. Same happened with software also was super unreliable in the early days. Again, we did want to deploy it for high-risk applications in airplanes, in medical devices. And today we do, because we do understand how to build trustworthy software. We have proper development frameworks, tools to test and validate. Again, a lot of these learnings do also apply to AI. So we would be able to figure out how to build accurate, reliable AI that doesn't reinforce the biases we don't want it to reinforce. We can solve this. Now, also, so we can solve these things, and a big part of my involvement, me, Petar Tsankov, has been on building the technical solutions that can help us tackle these challenges. But this is not enough, and that's why I'm here today, and that's where I need your help. Even if we do solve these solutions, we have to make sure this doesn't necessarily mean that companies and governments would adopt them. Because you need to show them that you care. So they would care if you care, if you worry, if you act when things go wrong. And in fact, you've already shown that this works. Last year, Amazon had not Amazon, this was another example. So one of you did complain about bias in AI recruiting software. And this resulted in the first lawsuit because of AI bias. Trust me, any company using AI for recruiting right now knows about this and cares about this because of you. Last year, a couple of months ago actually, Google released the Gemini models. And a lot of you complained about the biases that have been introduced, about the lack of transparency on how this has been communicated to the users. And trust me, any company deploying such model right now really cares about the biases they implement in the models and how they communicate to the users before they make these models public. So we can solve these problems, and the way you can help is by doing two things. Number one, I want you to worry about the right things. Worry about the real issues of current AI, not about potential, hypothetical, existential risks due to AGI. Number two, I need you to don't just stop with worry. Go forward. Talk about it. Turn your worry into action. Speak about it. Make your voice heard. So, do worry, speak up, and help us make AI safe. Thank you.